Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Athletic School podcast. Today, our guest speaker is a student athlete, Michal Goral. Goral,
Y-
right? That
Yes,
is that.
that's correct. Yeah, amazing.
He's from Poland, soccer player, and a writer as well. So we're gonna be talking about his book. He's really into self development and sports psychology. Thanks for joining me. I'm sure it's gonna be a great episode.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Like you said, yeah, I'm from Poland. I'm 20 right now, so I'm studying. It's my second year in the US. So yeah, we'll talk a bit about transferring, about soccer. Also, yeah, I wrote a book, so maybe we'll talk about this as well. But yeah, amazing that you have me here.
Yeah, awesome. And so tell me how that decision to come to the US started because you were playing in Poland and then you decided to come here. How was that decision to leave your family behind, leave everything behind, and come to the US?
Yeah, sure. The main motivation was to really play and study at the same time. So you either go professionally, you either play professionally in Europe, or you decide to, or you have to balance between school and football at the same time. Here it's much easier, and it's just better. It's better for student athletes. So you have everything in one place. You can train, you can study at the same time. So you actually don't have to really decide between those two things.
Mhm.
And then also I wanted to try something new, experience something new. Going abroad, going to the States is a dream. It's a dream. It really is, and enjoying it so far here. You know.
And what about leaving the family behind? That was the hard decision for you, or not
Yeah,
really?
yeah, yeah. It is a hard decision, difficult one. Uh, but still, I'm in Poland every 6 months or every 4 months, so I still get to see them. I'm constantly in touch with them, so it's not that very like I'm not seeing them. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm still really close with them. You know.
That's good. That's good.
Mhm.
So you came to Nebraska, and then now you transferred to Alabama.
Mhm.
Why did you transfer?
So mainly it was financially,
Hmm.
but also I was looking for a better level, better place to play soccer. Um, so I transferred from NAIA school to NCAA to Division Two. So I believe Division Two, especially the conference that I'm playing in right now, we have a very good team at the moment, and we also play in a very competitive conference. So it's just a better place to develop as a soccer player.
Hmm.
Also, they have a degree that I like here. So I have financial economics here, which I didn't really have at my previous school. So that was also one of the reasons for me to transfer here.
Hmm. And are you enjoying more Alabama than Nebraska?
Overall, yes, yes.
Yes.
Obviously, there are some things that are different, maybe a bit better, a bit worse.
Hmm.
But overall, yeah, I enjoyed a lot here. Yeah.
Hmm. That's good. And when you transfer, when did you get injured? Did you get injured when you transfer?
No, so I played my first season in Nebraska. I played my whole season. Then the spring season, I didn't practice since I was already transferring. And then once I transferred here in August, I did 5 practices, maybe not even 5 practices, and I sprained my ankle pretty badly. So unfortunately, I didn't play in the fall season. But right now in spring season, I'm back. I'm back to business. You know.
Hmm. Yeah. And so, I mean, for us that we come here to play and to study, right?
Hmm.
A lot of us come here mainly to play first and then study, even though it's
Hmm.
the opposite. It shouldn't be the opposite.
Yeah.
When when we have an injury and then we miss, like for example, for soccer, if you miss the fall, you miss when soccer is really going on, right? Like in the spring,
Yes. Yes.
it's
Yes.
not there's nothing crazy going on. uh, what was going through your head? How were you dealing with the injury?
Uh, well, of course, it was difficult, especially that it was my first year in the new school. So you kind of get to know new people, you get to know the place. And it's a bit more difficult to do it when you're injured, especially that you see all the season passing by really
Yeah.
right next to you. So that's painful, obviously, but then you just gotta get over it and just do your best to recover as quickly as possible. Just don't try to be a victim of it. Just try really to do something about it. Do whatever you can to be better when you come back. You know, that's the kind of mentality that I had, and I think I still have. So yeah, I think it's important really to not focus on the injury itself. Mainly, it's just focusing on the things that you can actually do. You know, that you have some control over.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I was
Mm-hmm.
reading a book about Green Lights by, it's an actor, Matthew. I can't pronounce his
Matthew
last name.
McConaughey,
Yeah,
McConaughey, huh? Ah, that's
yeah.
the guy.
So in his book, one of the first quotes that he mentions is like, um, well, if you keep stepping on dog shit, right, on the ground, you can either see as good luck or figure out how to stop doing that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there's like,
Yes.
you're gonna step on dog shit like all the time, right? It's not something that we can really control. Um,
Yes.
but it's how about you deal with that, or you either see as a good luck, as a good thing that is happening to
Mm-hmm.
you, or you figure something out like, well, maybe I should start looking at the ground more. I don't know, but doing something about it, right? Just complaining, and I think that's when a lot of international students, they come here, they get injury, and they decided to go back home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine, but I mean, we come here to with a purpose to graduate, to play soccer, and if the first time we face an obstacle, we go back, then what are we doing, right?
Yeah, then it's just an easy solution then, you know. And also, it's not like you get injured and well, the world is over. You, in most cases, you get 1 year extra, so you can play in your while doing your masters. So there
Yeah.
are some solutions, some ways to navigate the situation. So yeah, like you said, I don't think really coming back home is, of course, it is a solution, but I think it's just an easy one, you know.
It's just an easy way out for sure.
Hmm.
Um, and I wanna learn more about your book. I know it's not in English,
Hmm.
unfortunately, and I can read that. I can read, but tell me about the idea behind the book. Why did you write a book? What was the purpose
Hmm.
of it?
Sure. So the book actually will be in English soon, so
Awesome.
I'll let you know about it. So I'm translating it at the moment. I wrote it when I was 16, 17, back in Poland. And really, what was my idea behind it is to um, change the mentality of young people. Especially, I focus on the people that I know, so the teenagers, so my peers. That's the group of people that I know the best. So I know how they act, how they think, what problems we face while being in school, in college. Um, the book is about it's a self guide to really navigating your adult life, your maybe like transition to your adult life.
Yeah.
So how do you balance between school and, for example, for me it was sport, but for someone else it may be some passion, it may be starting some work, some business. So how do you do that? How do you manage your time? How do you control your emotions? How do you think really? Because how you think determines also many other things in your life. It all starts basically in your head. Many things starts in your head. So just by changing the way you think, you can change a lot of things. For example, like we talked about the injury, just focus on what can you do at the moment, not about, oh yeah, it happened to me. No, just try to figure something out, think about the solutions. So that's the example of how the thinking can change really your approach to life. Also how to set your goals, how to manage your time, how to effectively set your goals and then execute it as well. So I would say it's a very holistic approach to many things.
Mhm.
And obviously, some people they don't need it all, but once they see this chapter, they read this part. There are things that can change their life. Just sometimes it's just a quick fix. some would
Yeah.
say. Uh, but for some people, they need it. I knew that they need it because I knew many people that they wanted something more in their life than just going to school, going out, and just kind of falling into the routine. I knew many people that wanted something more in their life and they didn't exactly know how to approach it, where to start. So that was the idea behind it, and I think it worked out pretty well. Still working out pretty well. So I hope it will be in English soon, so it can reach the wider audience, especially
Yeah.
here in the US as well.
Yeah, awesome. And I think bringing to the US, I feel like a lot of people are lost when it comes to that transition period that you're talking about, right? You're graduating from high school, and then maybe you are going to college, maybe you are not going to college, but you don't know what
Hmm.
to do, how to do it, right? So,
Exactly, yeah.
and I don't wanna give any spoilers because I want people to read the book and I want to read it as well. But, what do you think people can do in order to find what they want for their lives?
Hmm.
Right? Is it going professional for soccer or for football? Is it going to financial or going to economics? Is it
Hmm.
what is it? How what are some advice that you can give to people
Sure.
in order to find that?
Sure, that's a great question. So, actually, what I really believe in is values. So, first of all, you have to determine your life values, the
Hmm.
things that matter the most for you, and then you have to prioritize it. So, and make decision based of it. What are your values? What's most important to you? Then you go and execute it. You act on it. So that's number one thing for me. It was really determining my inner values, what I like the most, what matters the most for me, and then making a plan. How do I wanna execute on it? Then also, if you don't know what you wanna do, uh, there's no pressure really. There's no pressure, and I don't think there should be any pressure for you to, for example, make a decision very early on. If you don't know what you're doing right, what you want to do right now at the moment, it's fine. Maybe you'll find out tomorrow. Maybe you'll find out in 1 year. What I
Hmm.
say to people is also what I write in my book. The one piece of advice is to go out and explore. Go out and explore many different things, many passions, activities, hobbies, mm, because simply you haven't tried everything. If you just try something, it doesn't work out. Yeah, that's fine. That's all right. That's a new experience, you know. But maybe it turns out that you like it, that you love it, and then you want to pursue that further. So I like to say to people, just go out and explore, discover, meet new people, talk to new people, make new connections, and then one day you'll figure it out eventually. But no pressure. I think no pressure is a good piece of advice. I know it feels like pressure. I also have a lot of moments that I feel that, oh, I need to make a decision quick. What I'm gonna do. Uh, but really, if you look at it from a broader perspective, you don't have to. You don't have to make a decision today, right now. Go out, discover, explore, and then you'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah, no, I love that approach, and I think for we were talking about international students that come here and then they end up going back home, and I think that happens for a lot of different reasons, right? But I think the main reason is because they don't really know their values, and they just come here, and I think coming here and going back home, if that's gonna help you find your value, I think that's okay. I
Hmm.
think it's not okay when we were talking about like you face a challenge and then you go back home, right? That's when it becomes an issue. But I think a lot of people come here and they figure out that okay, that's not really what I want. That's I don't know. I just think it's a really good way to grow in a way
Hmm.
to find
Hmm.
what you want for your life. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. And another thing you mentioned is exploring, right? I mean, if you have the resources to come here, study for a semester, and then go back home, why not do it, right?
Hmm.
I know for international students it's different. Like some people struggle a little bit more financially, some people struggle less. But if you have the resources, yeah, I think you should try everything as much as as possible without any pressure. And I mean, and I think when we talk about pressure, yes, maybe your parents put a little bit of pressure here or here and there, but I think it comes down to how we handle that pressure, right?
Hmm.
It's at the end of the day, it's about us. What are we gonna do that it's really good for us, not for your mom or for your dad, right? But
Yes,
I
yes.
love that approach.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to point out that every situation is different. So for me, going into the US, it's I wouldn't say easy, but I think it's easier than maybe for some people because my parents are extremely supportive. So if they weren't that supportive of my ideas of me going to the US, it would be a whole different conversation right now. So we gotta keep that in mind that many people just different kind of situations, life situations. But yeah, like we said, if you have the opportunity, the resources, I think going into the US is amazing idea.
Hmm. Yeah, I love it. And I mean, just changing a little bit the subject, but something that you talk about your book a lot, and then something that you have a lot on yourself. It's developing yourself, helping others develop themselves, right?
Hmm.
And I saw an article that you were talking about meditation, right? So is there any habits that you do that you can tell people that they should be doing as well, at least looking and experimenting in a way,
Hmm.
besides meditation as well, how you do your meditation, any other things
Hmm.
that you think people should be
Sure.
doing?
Sure. So my number one habit that I recommend to everyone, and that's the habit that everyone should really start with, is planning your day, planning your next day. It's a thing that I absolutely love because I can notice how much time I save just by
Mm.
doing it.
Yeah.
If I don't plan my next day, I feel like the time is just. There are many moments when just time flies by and you don't even notice it. Uh, so that's definitely number one thing for people to start doing. You mentioned meditation. Meditation is not something that I do every day, but it certainly is something that I do once in a while. Uh, so it's a great habit, especially if you want to learn really how your brain works in a way. So
Hmm.
once you go and start meditating, the idea is to not let your thoughts really bother your mind. So if you start meditating, you'll notice after 1 minute, you'll start thinking about something. You'll start going into the past about some what you're gonna do today, um, what you're gonna eat, and you're gonna notice that your brain just produces these thoughts, and that's really an exercise for you to notice how your brain works. But it relaxes you. I like to do it when I need some relax or just to chill out a bit. So definitely something worth considering. Maybe not for everyone, but everyone should try it at least and just see it for themselves. Um, yeah, and I also recommend. For me, it's a different situation because we both athletes actually. So, but physical activity is amazing. It's just if you start your day with physical activity, it's a great way to start your day. You're feeling awake. Um, but for us, yeah, for us athletes, for international students that are athletes right now, it's a bit different because we all obviously we have a lot of practices and games. But for just a regular student, it's a
Yeah.
great idea to just go and do some exercises during the day.
Yeah, and you mentioned about meditation, and I agree. I don't think it's for everyone, but I also think when people think about meditation, they think they're gonna sit down as as a Buddha and just
Yeah,
be there for
yeah.
hours and hours. And I think for us that we are on our phones 24/7, if we just put our phone down and go for a walk, that can be considered meditation, right? Just
Hmm.
looking, I don't know, to nature that helps us de-stressing in a way, right? Because I
Hmm.
feel like it's so much information. It's a lot of people saying, "Oh yeah, work out this way, work out that way. Don't eat this, eat that," right? And it's just too much sometimes. And there's actually a Brazilian author that says that a 3-year-old nowadays has way more information than a Rome emperor back then, right? The 3-year-old knows way more. They can
Mm-hmm.
access more. So there is a lot of stress out there. And I think if we just put our cell phone down, lay down, look at the ceiling for 5 minutes, I don't
Yeah.
know, don't do anything, like stillness is the key. So I think that will be helpful as well.
Yes.
um,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and when we talk about habits, it comes down to discipline, it comes down to motivation as well. What are your thoughts on discipline and motivation? Do you think they are the same thing? Do you think they're different? Do you think they work together? What are your thoughts?
I think it's different. I think these two things shouldn't be considered as really the same thing. Uh, so what may be unpopular opinion, but I think motivation is a bit overrated. I think motivation shouldn't be something on top of your priorities. However, discipline, the most important thing. If you're disciplined, you don't really need motivation because to be fair, every time you go to practice, you're not feeling motivated every single time.
Yeah.
It's all about consistency and discipline. That's what you need to develop first. And motivation, okay, you can watch a motivational video once in a while. That gets you going. Okay, that gets you going, but that gets you going for a short while. So what keeps you really disciplined for a longer period is that you can do it consistently. So the consistency is much more important than motivation because you're not going to be motivated all the time. That's just a lie. So discipline, very, very important. Motivation, also very important. And I think everyone needs to find really their own way to motivate themselves.
Hmm.
So for someone, it can be to prove someone else wrong, for example. Maybe you're doing it for something, for some reward. Maybe you're doing it in terms of punishment if you don't do it. So really, everyone has to see their own, has to find their own motivation. What I write in my book about the one kind of motivation that I sometimes use is death. So it's a bit controversial, but I
Yeah.
think just thinking about that one day we all just gonna be gone. So might as well do it right now. Might as well work out. Might as well act on something. So that's one of motivation that works for some people. For some, it doesn't. It just scares them off.
Mhm.
So it's very important to really find your own way to motivate yourself.
Yeah, and I think you go back to what you said earlier about values, right? It's
Yes.
knowing
Uh huh.
yourself, knowing what values you have, like what's the path to success here, right? What's my goal? How I'm gonna get there? And once we know that, I think it's actually not that hard to be motivated. It's just it comes back to discipline, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, well, to kind of just wrap it up, there's a question that I wanted to ask all my guest speakers. It's what's a message you would tell the entire world, right? There's a I don't know. We can put that sign somewhere. You let's talk about death. Like you're gonna die. There's only
Uh huh.
one message that you can leave behind. What would be that message?
Amazing question, actually. Um, I like to say to people, work hard, but also work smart.
Hmm.
So I think just working hard won't get you anywhere, really.
Hmm.
Um, if you work hard and smart, then you're gonna achieve great things. So one piece of advice: just analyze, think, plan, and then execute. Then actually work on it. So work hard and work smart. That's my message.
Awesome. I love that. I think there's a there's a Latin phrase that says "ora et labora," which it basically talks about work as God didn't exist and have faith as you didn't have to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So finding that balance between massive action, but also believing that everything is fine, you're gonna make it. And I think it goes a little bit back to what you said in terms of working smart as well, right? I cannot just kick the ball in the wall,
Yeah.
24/7. Like I have to read a book about it. I have to, I don't know, do something else,
Yeah.
watch film and do a little bit of smart work as well. So love that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, Michal, thank you so much for joining me. It's great to see another international student athlete that have your mindset. Uh, can't wait to read your book. I'm gonna need a signed copy.
You got
Uh,
it. You got it.
but I really appreciate that. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna take a lot of insights from that. Again, is I think if they can take just one thing out of the podcast, that makes me happy. So I really
Sure.
appreciate you taking the time and sharing a little bit of your experience here. So
Thank you for having me. It was
yeah,
my pleasure.
I appreciate
Thank
that.
you.